we are down to the top two. We've been putting the list together of the most extreme events as far as weather goes for the year. So let's go ahead and take a look at. We'll start with two, and then of course we get to number one, Craig.
Yeah, Paul, the second, what we thought was the second most important weather event or theme of the year. This one is more of a theme than one particular day. And we go back to the spring where we had plenty of rainfall around. This is some flooding from the Youngstown and Liberty areas back in April 5th. There was one of those days where we caught quite a bit of rainfall across the region, and we were dealing with flooded roadways across the area. And that was not just in one spot. That was pretty much area-wide. These videos just kind of came to us from some of our footage that we had earlier this spring. And so, of course, that wet spring ranked number 2 for us. From March through June, we recorded 19.12 inches of precipitation. The April 5th flooding, you saw some of those videos there. April 29th derecho, we talked about that already. And in addition to the heat, which we talked about as the number 3 story, the 8th wettest June on record was also the 8th warmest June on record, too. But that June did come with quite a bit of rainfall. Some of that came in thunderstorms. Again, we didn't crack the top 10 there, Paul, but we did get the 17th wettest spring, which is meteorological spring, March, April, and May. But Paul, I know if you remember that we kind of were just stuck in this pattern. Something that happens seemed to be pretty regularly here at the Valley is we just kind of get stuck in these patterns where we really just can't get out of them. And so I know that was something that you were tracking quite a bit this spring.
Yeah, and as we were moving out of spring into summer, we were thinking, well, man, where are we going with this? And that was 2 years in a row. We had a really wet spring going into summer, and then the rain just shut off for us. And that was last year. And this year, we were wondering if it was going to do the same thing. So that kind of leads us into, Craig, our top weather story of the year.
Right.
And our top weather story of the year, well, you guessed it. We were talking about the drought.
That is it, yeah. And a bunch of our reporters this summer really did go back and kind of talk about how this affected the crops, how this affected people that were doing a lot of the harvesting, especially going into the fall time. You saw some of that corn in there that wasn't doing really well with all the sunshine and some of that beating down heat. We talked about how hot it was this summer, all those 90-degree days. So just the dryness and the heat really did not help us out too much. So this comes back from what Brendan showed us earlier today as well. That the longest wet streak, as we mentioned, was in the springtime, 22 days in a row with measurable precipitation. And then, of course, the longest dry streak, that was in September 7th through the 21st, 15 days in a row with no rain. So that is our number one weather story here, as voted on by our storm team meteorologists. That late summer fall drought, we only had 1.35 inches of rainfall in the month of August. That was our driest August since 1991. You just saw those 15 days with no rain in a row in September. And in fact, earlier this summer, a lot of the area was in that extreme drought, but Columbiana County was lifted to a severe drought in September. So this most recent dry stretch was in 2023 with 21 days. That was the closest to the 15 days that I found. That was in April, that would be March, or May and June of 2023. But the record for our longest dry streak here at home is in September, October of 1922 and October of 1963 with 25 days. So again, it wasn't anything record breaking, but still definitely something that caught our attention this fall for sure.